absolutely wild as Vern Gagne's All-Star Wrestling goes coast to coast and continent to continent. The greatest wrestlers in the world.
He may be an apprentice carpenter, but I guarantee you he is a seasoned ring veteran.
I've been hit with bar stools, bar rags, barmaids.
I'm talking to you.
They're scared that Hulkamania's still running wild. Oh, yeah. I got a big fat wife and 9 kids at home, and I gotta feed them.
And take a look at Jesse the Body in real life.
Open your hand once, if you would.
You want to see it?
This is absolutely unbelievable. Totally, completely out of control.
He's coming in over the top. Hey! Look out!
Hello, everybody. Welcome into a special edition here on Back to Ringside, along with the Odyssey app and WCCO Radio. My name is Chris Tubbs, and we have got a fantastic guest today because AEW All Elite Wrestling is going to be bringing their flagship show, Dynamite, coming up on Wednesday at the legendary Roy Wilkins Auditorium, which, by the way, fun AEW and ECW fact, AEW agent Jerry Lynn won his ECW championship at the Roy Wilkins Auditorium. How do I know? I was there. So, Jerry, you are definitely welcome for that. Let's go ahead and get into our guest, because one thing that we talk about with, Minnesota is we love the hashtag one of us, right? When somebody from Minnesota does well, I feel like we all are cheering for that person. And we have got someone who has had quite the journey on his way to All Elite Wrestling. But please welcome one of the members of Gates of Agony and Minnesota's own Bishop Kaun. Bishop, man, nice to talk to you.
How's it going?
Good, man. So one of ours from Minnesota. How cool is it to be a Minnesota guy? And I know I'm going to talk about your college here in a minute, but man, you're a Minnesota guy coming back and AEW at Roy Wilkins, man. That's got to be a pretty good feeling.
Yeah, it's very special. Being a Minneapolis native coming back here, getting the chance to perform for my family and friends, it's so special to me.
Yeah. So where did you go to high school and before you went to the University of Minnesota?
I went to Minneapolis Washburn, so I graduated from there in 2008. It's just so long ago. Grew up in like the Lake Isles area, 39th and Pleasant, and then I actually went to the University of Minnesota for just a year. But I went to Luther College just over the state line for the last 3 years, and then I came back to do my graduate studies at Minneapolis College of Art and Design, MCAD, for the last 2.5 years.
Wow. See, I love that you went to the U of M, but then you went to Luther, played football there.
Yeah.
But your interest, it was in like arts and design. That was is that what got you down to Decorah?
I think the U of M was just too big for me at the time. Being a freshman, going there and going into like one of those classrooms that like 200, 300 people, I wasn't going to get the attention that I wanted. So I had a couple of friends that went to Luther. It was far enough from home, but close enough from home where it was like a nice stretch. So it was like 2.5 hour drive. And then, they had an amazing fine art program. So that's what I ended up getting my bachelor's in.
So it was like art and design. Was that always something that had like interested you? Because I mean, obviously being a football player, athletic, I gotta assume, like the sports was a big part of it. But was that always kind of something that was, an itch that you were looking to scratch?
Yeah, I've been drawing my entire life. And I think I wanted to do architecture first, but then I kind of took some of the classes and it wasn't really for me. So then I had this dream of just being able to make magazines. If I could design magazines, I got into sculpting, a little bit of painting, looking at like Pixar and DreamWorks, maybe if I do 3D animation work. But Luther gave me the opportunity to kind of take classes in all the different areas and see what I really liked the most. And that was graphic design. So I ended up funneling the last 2 years into that path. But that's something I always kind of appreciate about myself, having that duality. You look at me, huge, jacked football player guy, but then I'm the same guy who's also painting these canvases or doing sculpting. And just because I had multiple interests, I thought it was always kind of cool that I could have those dual roles.
Well, I love it because, during the course of, you hear people, and it's like, this is kind of all, this is, I've always wanted to do this. It's kind of like,
Yep.
I had one plan, this was it. But
Mm,
you had designs on being a like graphic designer, being creative. Do you
yeah.
feel like, just being creative and being able to express everything, has that helped
Mhm.
you in the wrestling business?
I think so. Even when I was growing up, we had like our own backyard wrestling federation. We bought a trampoline. We were going to build a ring in the backyard. And I think too, growing up in the early 2000s, we just had the ability to be creative, be outside, have an imagination. So we would
Yeah.
sketch different wrestling characters. And now, especially with my career, just having that marketing branding background is able to find people that help me make logos to look a certain way that I want them. I know what the process it takes to make and design great gear. I know what it
Mhm.
takes to go and make like cool branding for pay-per-views. So I can appreciate all those things just because I have that background in it. And it definitely helps from a character standpoint as well, too. You can start sketching stuff out. Oh, I kind of like these ideas, and you kind of write words, and you can do these word map bubbles and just start sketching ideas. Any type of creative, it just helps you be more creative in the ring.
Yeah, no
Mm,
doubt about it. We're talking with Bishop Kaun, one of our own here, AEW Dynamite, their flagship show. Going to be tomorrow night, Wednesday night, the 25th, at the Roy Wilkins Auditorium. So you said the U of M was a little too big. You went
yeah.
to Luther and played football. What was your
Mm,
football career like, playing for Luther in a smaller college? Because I remember I did some play-by-play for Crown College for a bit.
okay.
And they played Augsburg and whatnot. But I mean, what was
Yeah.
it like playing football at a smaller school like that?
It was cool. I think it was an easier transition to go from high school to playing at a small college like that. We had our small conference. I didn't play a ton. I think I just played football just because I liked the team aspect of it. I don't
Sure.
think I ever really realized my full potential at the time. It was just something to keep me busy, keep me a nice structure. Because then it was always going into the weight room, had to do film study. It just helped me have this type of mentality of if things are going to get hard, I have to keep going. So I think it was just like
Yeah.
help building up my personality and whatnot. But it was an interesting time going to these small Iowa towns where there's nothing but cornfields. And then of course you had people on our team that could have got drafted to the NFL. They just chose not to. So it was an interesting time.
Yeah. I feel like there are some aspects of the smaller college world that kind of get overlooked and maybe
Mhm.
underappreciated, because everybody thinks like you got to be the big U of M or you got to be
Yeah.
respect, and it's like there's just as much value being in
Mhm.
a smaller liberal arts college, because I grew up Lutheran, so I
Okay.
definitely can understand and respect, having that background.
Mhm.
What about the wrestling bug? Like when did that start to bite you? Were you one of these guys that as a kid you just kind of get into it
Mhm.
and it kind of snowballed from there?
Yeah, I think I was maybe 9, 10 years old. A friend came over, put in a VHS tape. The first thing I saw was D-Generation X. From there, it
Yeah.
just kind of like skyrocketed. I was
How many times
so
did you get in
obsessed.
trouble for doing this?
I don't think I got in trouble for that in school, but I definitely was doing it around around that time. But I was so obsessed. I action figures. I'd make collages. I'd cut out magazines and frame posters and put them in my room. Again, backyard trampoline wrestling. We would record ourselves filming stuff, wrestling out on the snow, which is all. I loved that. It was like probably the best times of my life. Building up snow piles, doing swantons off the garage. But I was obsessed until I got to like my later years of high school, and then of course you've kind of just fall out of it a little bit. But after graduate school is when I got back into it again.
So
Mhm.
you grew up here and then you went
Mhm.
to college in Luther, but you trained in Maryland. So what
Yeah.
took you from here out to the East Coast? Because that seems like a big move for a
It,
guy.
it was a past relationship, but I appreciate her. She got a job out in Baltimore, and that's why I ended up moving out there. But once I got to Baltimore, before that, I was already trying to find a wrestling school in Minneapolis. I
Okay.
ended up finding a small school, this old WWF ref that ran the school, and it was like a sunken in ring and some abandoned warehouse. But then we moved to Baltimore, and I found Maryland Championship Wrestling in Joppa, and within like 2 months, I was able to sign up and just go for this dream.
Man, and you were in your what, mid to late 20s when you decided to do that?
I think I was 26 and I turned 27 right after I signed up.
Wow. I mean, I
Yeah.
mean, you have everything, you earn a degree and you've got
Mhm.
this job and you just decide to be like, you know what, was it one of those that if I don't do it now, I might
Yep.
not ever get a chance to do it?
Yeah. Basically that I was like, I don't want to regret anything in my life. And I
Yeah.
already have, of course, like a secure job. I have health insurance. I got the degree. My mom wanted me to go to college, so I did that. And I was like, what do I have to lose? If I try it and it doesn't work out, of course I still have the job. And I tell people that I'm very fortunate. Things kind of just worked out. I met
Yeah.
people along the road, RJ Meyer, Joey Mercury. I was able within 2 years to get signed. And not everybody gets that privilege and opportunity to do that. But I also worked my ass off. I was training
Mhm.
twice a week, but we do the birthday shows twice on the weekends. I look the way that I do. I was taking acting classes, practicing promos. So I was in the right place at the right time, meeting the right people. But I also put so much work to able to get these opportunities to get signed, and it just worked out for me.
Yeah, I've heard good things about MCW. Like, what was your
Mm,
training like? Because you mentioned Joey Mercury, and I mean, you
mm,
you put that name out there, and that's instant credibility right there.
yeah. It was grueling. It was Tuesdays and Thursdays from like 6 to 10, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're working a full-time job all week and then you go to throw yourself at the ground for 4 hours, it can be a lot. And it was about an hour from my house at the time too, so it was just a grind. And after MCW, within the year and a half, 2 years, when I signed to Ring of Honor, we were doing the dojo system. That was 4 days a week, and that was from maybe 3 to 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. And after that, I would still go to the gym. So it was just
Okay.
like work all day, train for a couple hours, go to the gym, and then of course, we were doing the Ring of Honor shows on the weekends. So it was just nonstop. That was all my life. That was just work,
Yeah.
wrestling, and I didn't really have time to have a social life.
Was that ROH? Was that before Tony Khan bought it?
Yep. Yeah, that was like
Okay.
when Sinclair Broadcasting.
Okay. So, I mean, what
Hmm.
was it like working at Ring of Honor, with Sinclair and then Tony Khan bought it? And then I mean, was it easier once you kind of got ROH and AEW kind of in the same company? Or, I mean, what was it like with Ring of Honor under Sinclair?
Uh, it was I guess a great experience. I didn't know what Ring of Honor was until I saw Ring of Honor show in St. Paul maybe a year before I started pro wrestling. So I
Okay.
saw that, and even when I got into pro wrestling, I never thought that I'd make it this far, which is
Hmm.
funny because when I ended up signing with Ring of Honor, Joey told me, he's like, you knew you were going to make it, but I never thought this was actually going to be. You tell someone you want to be a pro wrestler, like, oh, you want to be a rock star, like they
Yeah.
can't comprehend that this is actually going to be your real life. So then getting able to get paid to train and do these shows, I just took it in as it came. I was when I had our first TV debut, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm on national television. Like this doesn't feel real to
Yeah.
me. But we got to do that for 3 years, and my contract ended with the Sinclair Ring of Honor when the company ended up folding before Tony Khan bought it. So
Okay.
before Tony bought it, I was no longer with ROH. So I actually ended up signing to AEW, and then maybe a couple months after Tony bought Ring of Honor. So I was signed to AEW before Tony Khan bought it.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
You talk about, people think that you're going to be a rock star, and it is
Yeah.
funny because you look at TV, you're like, oh man, this is great, it's the glitz and the glamour, and
Mhm.
I'm just a radio guy who loves to talk and watch wrestling. I mean, what was it like for you first getting your feet wet into the business and getting to Ring of Honor and then AEW? Was it what you had expected, or I mean, did Joey and the rest of your trainers, did they kind of tell you,
Mhm.
hey, the wrestling business is kind of a grind? Like, what did you expect when you first got out of training?
I didn't know what to expect. But my old tag partner, when I first signed up, he told me, he was like, at some point, you're going to hate this. He was like, because it is a grind. And
Hmm.
I think I tell young people that nowadays. I've known people who've been wrestling 15, 20 years who never got signed before. So this expectation that you think you're going to get signed after a year or two is not real. It doesn't work for everybody. So it depends
Yeah.
how much you put into this. It depends who you're meeting, how much you love this. Because the first couple of years, you're just doing this because you love it. You're losing money. You're doing stuff for free.
Still
You're throwing
trying to
yourself
pay
at the
your
ground.
way, I assume.
Yeah. You're just trying to cut your teeth, just get experience wrestling as many people as you can, hopefully learning good things along the way. But again, a lot of people have to go back to their regular jobs after this.
Yeah.
So it is definitely a grind. The travel, injuries, dealing with all that stuff, but it's all worth it when you get to have a match and people are clapping or booing, and you get to have this euphoric feeling. There's days after shows that I just can't sleep. I'm just laying in bed until 4 a.m. until I have to get up for catch a flight. And I'm like, dang, this is my life. This is just crazy that it's my life. It's just so surreal to me.
So who was like your influence? Were there certain wrestlers that you looked up to as a kid, and you're like, these are the people I want to, emulate. I want to be like them.
I was a huge Hardy Boys fan, but I never had the desire to wrestle like them. So I have a fear of heights. I have no desire to jump off ladders and through tables, but those were the guys that got me just hooked on pro wrestling, and I was obsessed with them. And I was fortunate to be in the ring with them. I never really grappled with them, but we were in a battle royal together. I've met them before. Great guys, amazing human beings, but I was like, yeah, I'm not going to wrestle that way. But of course, people like Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle. I liked just the hard hitting Farouk. Like, I liked guys who made it look and feel so real, and that can make me feel some type of way about it, where I'm grimacing like, oh, I know that doesn't feel great. So those are the people that got me to buy in on just the physicality, the aggressiveness of pro wrestling. That I just loved it.
Yeah. Well, here we have a little bit of the physicality right there. And I mean, just looking at that and the fluidness. And I mean, I watched this several times, and I got to admit, like, my chest hurts just watching that. And I mean, that's the one thing with the Gates of Agony. What I've appreciated about you guys is it's kind of been the same. This is what wrestling to me is. Wrestling is the physicality. Wrestling is, ripping somebody's head off like that, and just like, this is what I imagine wrestling. So I kind of appreciate the old school feel that I think you guys bring to it. I feel like that's something that maybe is lacking in today's day and age.
I would agree, just because that's the style that we like to have. We like to be very physical, very aggressive. The more we can make it feel real to people, I think the better that we're doing. And people typically can compare it to like Faces of Fear, Legion of Doom. There's not a lot of big brawler teams like us, and we look the part. You've heard MVP say, we passed the airport test. You see us suited up walking through TSA, but then you see us in the ring and we're just massive human beings, and we're going to hurt you. And I'm going to enjoy it too. So
yeah, well, and that's the joy of being in that situation with the Gates of Agony. And ever since one thing that I love about pro wrestling is when it's done right, it's the best form of entertainment in the world. And I've said that to people. And for you, as I kind of look at what you've done in AEW, from starting with Tully Blanchard Enterprises, and I want to ask you about Tully here in a minute, to the Embassy, to the Gates of Agony, like everything. It seems like you've kind of been surrounded by the same people, which just adds that consistency. And I like that, because I can get into something if I'm able to follow it for a longer period of time.
Yeah. I've had a lot of dance partners, but like I said, that credibility there. It first started with Shane Taylor, and this guy will punch you in the mouth if you ever disrespect him. And then from there,
Shane Taylor Promotions, man.
Yeah, STP. Yeah. And then from there, it's Tully Blanchard. And I got a chance to train with him when I was living in San Antonio, and this guy's one of the greatest of all time. And we're sitting on the bus and he's watching our films, like our matches with him, and he's critiquing stuff, and you're just sitting under the learning tree. And then from there, it's Prince Nana, and it's Brian Cage and Swerve, and now it's with Ricochet. And Ricochet, in my mind, is one of the greatest athletes of all time. And I've just been surrounded by these greats, and I'm just waiting for the opportunity that one day all this opportunity and experience is being built up, all this credibility. And whenever I get the opportunity to roll solo, people are gonna have to watch out.
Yeah, what is it like to have different people that come in and come out and influence? Do you feel like you can take a little bit from everybody? Because you mentioned like Ricochet. I mean, when you watch him go, like, he does things that are not, like, you shouldn't I couldn't even do those in a video game. The things that he does. And I'm just like, the dude is, I mean, he is amazing. And there are some people in this business that I don't feel get the respect that they deserve. And I feel like he is right up there at the top of the line.
100% agree. Toa and I will be out there, of course, supporting our guy Ricochet and watching him. And sometimes I just get lost in the match because he's just so
Yeah.
good. You talk about being so fluid. Everything that he does looks easy. It's crazy because he's been wrestling for almost 25 years and he's not slowed down a bit. If anything, he's gotten even better. I'm just
Yeah.
like I'm in constant amazement. Just throwing out flips like it's like it's nothing to him. I'm like, oh, I wish I could do that someday. But like you were saying too, it's all these little puzzle pieces that are just coming together, just building my persona of Khan and just building me up. And you can tell over the years, the experience that we've gotten, Toa and I have gotten so much more confident. The physicality has increased. You can just tell the aura that we have when we go out there. We're really feeling ourselves because we just have all this experiences backing that has helped us just push us up.
You know, I'm glad you said the word aura because I feel like we're in a position where some people want to be wrestlers, but they don't want to put in the work. And it's like, I've always heard you have to look the part to act the part to be the part. And I mean, I look at you and it's like, you are a professional wrestler. I hate the word sports entertainment. That drives me nuts. A professional wrestler. And that's what I love about AEW and just how it differentiates itself. It's wrestling. And I mean, what would you tell to people? What would your advice be about AEW that makes it different from, anything else that's out there?
AEW is where the best wrestlers. We are all elite wrestling, and styles make matches. You have luchadors, you have grapplers, you have brawlers, high flyers, technicians. You have people that are much better at promos and comedy, and you have people that are just very like make you a little bit uncomfortable and just how they're talking. It's an amazing variety show. But again, it's where the best wrestle. And even when I first signed there, I was like, I didn't know if I could keep up. But I think that when you see the level of talent, everybody is talented, and they can go, it could be anybody, and they can go out there and just have an amazing banger match. We have such a stacked roster, which I think is great because it creates a weird, challenging problem. Like, all right, we got to get all these people on these shows because everybody is so good, and we're just all trying to make each other better. And whoever goes out there is, they're gonna have a banger. It's phenomenal to just sit back I can be on the show and I'm sitting back watching the matches before as a fan because it's amazing pro wrestling.
Yeah. What is Tony Khan like as a businessman and a boss?
That's a great question. He's honestly just a nice guy, and he genuinely cares about you. It's funny. Last week I had a terrible travel day. I got to the show super late, and then he was walking by me. He's like, "Hey," he called me by my real name, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm glad that you made it." Like, the fact that you knew that I was having a terrible travel day and I couldn't get here, but I got here super late, and you care that I made it safely is very heartwarming. You meet bosses that will never talk to you, who treat you like a inferior, and he just makes you feel like a part of the family. He knows everyone's real names. He'll take a second to say hi to you, give you a hug, and he just makes you feel like you actually matter, and he cares about you. So it's great working for somebody like that.
Yeah, the impression I get as an outsider from him is that he's number one, he's a fan and he
100%.
wants the business to do well. And I look at him and I'm like, this is cool to have somebody who owns a company that is like just as invested and understands what wrestling fans might want, because you mentioned you've got all different sorts of styles. I've said that wrestling is best when it's like a buffet. You've got a little bit of everything for everybody. And I think that's just really one thing that makes AEW so much different, like you said, from everybody else. I guess as we're wrapping up here, because I mean, we're almost 25 minutes and I could go for a lot longer, but I know you got a workout to do and I got lunch I got to eat. So there's a difference between the two of us. But what, like the impact that you want to make, what, like overall for your career? I mean, you're still really, really young into it.
Yes.
What is the lasting impact that you want to make in the wrestling business?
Ooh, I just got chills. I talk about this a lot with my girlfriend because she asked me what kind of legacy that I want to have. And first and foremost, I always try to find people that looked like me growing up wrestling. So when I first met MVP, I was like, hey man, when I saw you as a kid, it meant so much to see somebody that had a story similar to mine, just with like being biracial, that I could attach to and see that this is actually possible for me to accomplish. So that's one. If I can just be a spokesperson or somebody that people can look up to, that hey, you can definitely realize your dreams and go after them, and it's possible. But other than that, I would love to be able to be talked about whenever my career is over as someone that was a ringleader, someone that was hard hitting, that if you were going to wrestle me, that you know that you're going to experience something different that day. I would
Yeah.
love to be in line of somebody like Angle, Eddie Guerrero, like someone who you knew that you're going to have an amazing physical match with that could just set the tone and beat you up, but like also maybe mid-card champion at some point, TNT champion, multi-tag time champion, but just somebody that was well respected by the boys, fantastic worker, never slowed down, just had this aura, a superstar. The list could go on, but I just want to have a legacy where people speak very highly of me at some point, because why else are we doing this?
Yeah. Well, I can tell just by talking to you in the short time that you got the mindset, you got the attitude, you got the personality, you got the ability. I think you're in a good company with a lot of really good mentors.
Yeah.
When you got somebody like an MVP that you can go to,
Yep.
or I mean, Shelton Benjamin, who is
Yes.
also from
Yep.
here as well. And I mean, you've got so many assets and so many good things ahead of you, Bishop. And man, I just want to thank you for taking the time. Welcome back to the cities, man.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to the show, man. It's going to be awesome. Like, I have no doubts that I've never been disappointed at an AEW show. Out of all of them that I've gone to, I've never been disappointed, and I don't see any reason why that's going to change on Wednesday night.
I agree. We got to keep that standard. This is where the best wrestle. Tickets are still available at Ticketmaster and AEW Tick. And like I said, I'm happy to be back in the city. I'm gonna go drive around Minneapolis, just check over my own stomping grounds, see what's happening down in the city, check it out. But yeah, tune in for AEW Dynamite, the Roy Wilkins Auditorium. It's gonna be a fantastic show. You got Swerve versus Kenny Omega, Tekla versus Mina, Roosh and Darby Allin. It's gonna be a jam-packed show. Tickets are still available. And again, this is where the best wrestle. And like myself, if you're in demand, you can make demands. If you don't follow demands, you're gonna be put down.
Oh, hey, you got to do what the man says, right? Don't make him come and kick your ass, because he'll do it.
I will.
He'll come right through that screen and he'll rip your head off. I already showed the video. I don't want to be that guy, Bishop. So, hey, man, appreciate your time, and we will see you Wednesday night at the Roy Wilkins Auditorium.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Awesome, man. That was it. And dude, this is great, man. I'm really, it's always fun to hear people's stories. Like, I've just always been fascinated with people's backgrounds, and man, you've got such an awesome story, man. This is just, it's cool as heck to see you doing these good things, man.
I appreciate it. The fact that you even started out being from Minnesota, and like, when I talk to people from high school I grew up with, and like, oh, you got to put on for this city, it means so much to me, just because I would always look for that too. People that make it out of the city. I remember one of my high school teammates, Rashid, was drafted to the NFL, and everybody just supports you because we just come together as a community, and like, hey, one of us is shining, we're all shining. We got to support our own. So
yeah, that's just it. I mean, and this is like, Minneapolis is a mecca for wrestling in the history. So it's like, anytime you can come out of Minneapolis, even though you train in Maryland, it's like that means something. And at least for me as an outsider, like, I hear Minneapolis and I'm like, instant credibility right there.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Legends came from here, so I gotta just withhold my end of the bargain there.
Man, you're gonna be the next one, dude. Like, I love watching you guys work, man. You're scary as hell, and I love it, but I hate it at the same time.
No, that's awesome. I appreciate that.
All right, man. Hey, go get your workout in, and
will do.
I'll be there tomorrow night. I'll be yelling at you tomorrow night.
Awesome. Take care, man.
All right, see you, bud. Bye.
Have a good one.